lives are compromised by two huge interconnected threats, and too little is being done to address either one. Climate change is the threat most talked about, but relentless population growth is also onerous. Survival can only be achieved if carbon dioxide and world population do not overload a finite planet. Any species whose numbers jumped from 1.6 billion in 1900 to 7.9 billion in little over a century threaten the entire ecosystem. What then are we doing locally and nationally to address this potential worldwide catastrophe? Wealthy, advanced nations like ours should provide free contraceptives for third world nations and set an example for a rational, moral way to address family planning. Unfortunately, cultural norms and religious ideology can prove counterproductive in reducing population growth. Americans, guilty of generating a massive volume of pollution for over a century, have a special obligation to accept a new mindset for environmental stewardship. And for individuals, it requires abandoning irresponsible behavior and setting an example for others. Driving electric cars, using public transit, consuming little to no beef, avoiding air travel when possible, and using a heat pump to heat and cool the apartment are good examples. Nationally, a massive increase in wind, solar, and geothermal energy is needed, with hydrogen used primarily for backup. Burning coal in power plants should be stopped immediately, with natural gas used as a substitute. To accomplish this, we need a national commitment, creative new industries, and well-crafted regulations. This is serious business. Unfortunately, a greed-driven economic system demanding continuous GDP growth produces excess pollution and benefits a few at the expense of many, leaving half the population struggling financially. The wealthy, by their self-indulgence, produces rampant materialism and pollution, the worst possible behavior for limiting climate change. Democracy desperately needs to level the playing field for all, and police, firemen, and other critical workers who make the emergency systems work must be highly trained and well paid. We simply need the best qualified to make sure the critical support systems are in place and ever ready. Reason, science, common sense, and the best information available must form the basis on which critical systems and practices are established. Most important, we need to trust each other and support the life-saving regulations established by a progressive and benevolent government. The libertarianism of Charles Koch is the worst possible ideology for responding to climate change and excessive population growth. Trump's anger, fear, and hate have produced a divided society that provides a pitiful model of democracy for emerging nations. Both demagogues wear the Republican mantle, a party that places profits above everything else, including the survival of life on the planet. And fewer than half of Republicans even believe in man-caused climate change. The Republican Party, so out of touch with reality and the present, compromises everyone's future. Climate change, excess population, and now the Republican Party are the three major threats to survival. We know we have to accept big changes and eliminate selfish habits and foolish practices, then fully accept life-saving regulations that are not at all onerous, and even encourage activities that enrich life. A new consciousness must replace the old trap of me first and only, with a new willingness to work together, share, and experience the satisfaction that comes from life-affirming behavior. We live on a miraculous planet, and we must also accept its limitations. Our greatest hope lies in enlightened democracy in which community and cooperation provide a dynamic fellowship in which all can prosper. A carbon tax plus business as usual will not take us where we need to go, nor will nuclear fusion, or any other technological breakthrough save us. We will either succeed together or perish alone like armed libertarians waiting for a polluted world to end, the final solution to excess population, climate change, and the anti-conservative Republican Party. Fortunately, it doesn't have to end this way. Think about it, talk about it, act upon it, and never, never vote for a libertarian Republican. We are being attacked by an in-house enemy, and it's time for the loyal majority to come together and take their democracy back.